Hello, this is lesson 1 of number relationships. I am going to start off first with a review, and then we'll get into the divisibility rules of 10, 5, and 2. So first I'm going to start off with an example. 4 going into 228. First off, we start off with is divide. 422 goes 5 times. Okay, that's the multiply part. Next, that's the divide. Next, multiply. 4 times 5 is 20. And I next subtract. 22 take away 20 is 2. Next, bring down. I drop the 8. 4 goes into 28 7 times. For 28, I subtract, and I get a remainder of 0. So 57 is my final answer. So that's long division. What I would like you to do is pause the video and go on to the 9 examples below. Then watch the rest of the video and check your answers. Pause the video now. Okay, so in this first example that you have already tried and done, we're dividing 7 into 3,507. So 7 goes into 35 5 times for 35. I subtract, I get 0, and I bring down 0. 7 goes into 0 times. 0, 0, bring down the 7. 7 goes into 7 one time, and I get no remainder. Okay. In this one, 6 goes into 7 one time. For 6. I subtract, I get 1. I bring down 1. 6 goes into 11 one time. I get 6. I subtract, and I get 5. Now I bring down the 4. 6 goes into 54 9 times. I get a remainder of 0. Okay, 7 goes into 24 3 times for 21. I subtract, I get 3. I bring down the 5. 7 goes into 35 5 times. I get 5. I subtract 0. I bring down the 8. 7 goes into 8 one time. I get 1. And I get a remainder of 1 here. Okay? The next example, excuse me, 5 goes into 15, 3 times for 15, I get a remainder of 0, I drop the 4. 5 goes into 4 0 times, I drop the 2. 5 goes into 42, 8 times for 40, I subtract, and I get a remainder of 2. Okay, 9 goes into 43 4 times for 36. Okay, then I get 7 as my remainder. I drop the 4. 9 goes into 74 8 times for 72. I get 2, and I drop the 8. 9 goes into 28 3 times for 27, and I get a remainder of 1. 4 goes into 12 3 times, and I get 12, and I drop my 0. 4 goes into 0 times, I get 0, I drop my 0. 4 goes into 0 times, and I get a remainder of 0. Okay, 3 goes into 9 3 times for 9. I get 0, I drop the 7. 3 goes into 7 2 times, I get 6. I get 1, I drop the 3. 3 goes into 13 4 times for 12, and I get a remainder of 1. 3 goes into 28 9 times for 27. I get 1. Then I drop the 7. 3 goes into 17 5 times for 15. I get 2. I drop the 7. 3 goes into 27 9 times for 27 with a remainder of 0. 6 goes into 6 once. Get a remainder of 0. Drop the 8. 6 goes into 8 one time. I get 6. 2, drop the 4. 6 goes into 24 3 times, or 4 times, I should say. And I get 24 with a remainder of 0. And that is a review of long division. Okay? All right. So the next thing that we are going to cover is the first lesson, and we're going to discuss the divisibility rules of 10, 5, and 2. So what is the divisibility rule? A divisibility rule is an easy way to determine if it is divisible by a number. So the first one, the divisibility rule of 2. If the number ends in 0, 2, 4, 6, and 8, it'll be divisible by 2. If the number ends in 5 or 0, then the number is divisible by 5. And if the number ends in 0, the number is divisible by 10. Okay, so here's an example. 3 schools co-hosted the district soccer championship. Okay. Each school sold a different type of gift card to raise the money for the event. Book Barn sold $10 ones, Movie Madness sold 5, and the Donut Hole sold 2. These are the schools and the amount of money each school has raised. Okay, so the main question we are trying to determine is how can you determine which type of card each school sold? So it says represent each amount raised on a place value chart. So in the thousands, we have 1, 9, 9, 5, and there's no number past the decimal. We have 1, 0, 2, 0. We have 1, 6, 3, 4. Okay. Just zoomed in a little bit. All right. So how does regrouping 1020 into 102 tens and 0 ones show that it is divisible by 10, 5, and 2? So we really have a whole bunch of tens. So if I group it into 102 tens, 102 tens, and 0 ones, this shows we know that 10 goes into 10. We know that 5 goes into 10 2 times. And we know that 2 goes into 10 5 times. So by breaking it up into 10, we can just divide those numbers into 10 as opposed to 10, 20. How does regrouping 1995 into tens and ones show that 1995 is divisible by 5? Well, if I break this up into tens, I have 199, 199 tens, and then one group of 5. Okay? Well, I know 5 goes into tens, and I know 5 goes into 5. So because it's divisible into an entire number, I know this number is divisible by 5. Is 2 or 10 a factor? So using the divisibility rules above, I know 10 only goes into tens, groups of tens. But we have a group of 5, which isn't a group of 10. So I know that this is not divisible by 10. How do I know it's not divisible by 2? Well, it's only divisible by 2 if it is an even number. This ends in 5. It is not an even number, so it's not divisible by 2. How does regrouping 1634 into tens and ones show that 1634 is divisible by 2? So, if I break this up, I get 163 tens and then 4 ones. Well, I know that 10 is divisible by 2. I know that 4 is divisible by 2. So therefore, it must be divisible by 2. Is 5 or 10 a factor? Well, I know 5 does not go into 1, so it's not divisible by 5. I know 5 does not go into 4, I should say, the 4 ones. I know that 10 does not go into 4 ones. Therefore, it's not divisible by 10. So, which type of card did each school sell? All right. Well, the 1995 is divisible by the 10. It is divisible by 10. The 1020 is divisible by 10, it's divisible by 2, and it's divisible by 5. So that could be any one of the 3 types of cards. So I can't eliminate that one. I know 1995 was only divisible by 5. Therefore, Mountain Heights must have only sold Movie Madness. So, Mountain Heights sold Movie Madness. Okay, how do I know? Because it was only divisible by 5. Okay, so I did this one. This one down here, 1634, was only divisible by 2, which is the donut hole. So Plains View sold donut holes. So Plains View sold donut hole because it's divisible by 2. And the last school was Lavallee. Well, we already know that Movie Madness and the donut hole were already used up, so it must be the Book Barn. How does regrouping a whole number into tens and ones help you determine the remainder when you divide the number by 10, 5, or 2? Well, if we break the whole number into tens and ones, what we can do, for example, if I take my, let's go with 1634, one of the numbers used above. If I break this into tens and ones, I get 163 tens, and I get 4 ones. To determine the remainder, I know that 10 does not go, or I know that 5 does not go into this number, right? So if I divide 5 into this number, I know that 5 goes into this, but it does not go into this. So what we can do is we can divide this, and we will get our remainder by dividing into it. What are the possible ones digit if a number is divisible by 10? What if a number is divisible by 5 or divisible by 2? So we know that if it's divisible by 10, it has to have a remainder of 0. So it has to end in 0. If it's divisible by 5, it must end in 0 or 5. And if it's divisible by 2, it must end in 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. Describe the divisibility rules you would determine whether 10, 5, and 2 are factors of a number. So I already explained those rules up here. If it's divisible by 10, it'll end in 0. If it's divisible by 5, it'll end in 0 or 5. And if it's divisible by 2, it'll end in 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8. Okay. So, using that information, we're going to go through these two examples. Okay? Without dividing the entire number, determine if 10, 5, and 2 is a factor. Well, what I like to do is I like to make a chart. 3, 4, 6, 4, 8. And then I'm going to go by 2, 5, and 10. Well, if you remember the rule of 2, if it ends in 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8, it's divisible by 2. It ends in 8, therefore it is divisible by 2. It is only divisible by 5 if it ends in 0 or 5. It does not, therefore it's not divisible by 5. It is only divisible by 10 if it ends in 0. It does not, so it's not divisible by 10. Okay, so based on all that information, what I would like you to do is pause the video and try this try question. Pause the video now. Okay, so you just tried those try questions. Hopefully you were successful. Check your answers as I go through it and see if you are correct. So it is only divisible by 5 if it ends in 5 or 0. Well, 455 ends in 5, so it's divisible by 5. 210 ends in 0, so it's divisible by 5. It is only divisible by 2 if it ends in 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8. 455 does not, but 210 ends in 0, so it's divisible by 2. It is only divisible by 10 if it ends in 0. 455 does not, but 210 does. So 210 is divisible by 2, 5, and 10. Therefore, 2, 5, and 10 are all factors. 455 is only divisible by 5, so only 5 is a factor. Hopefully this lesson made sense to you. What I would like you to do now is pause the video and open up your textbook work and begin working on your homework.